This is ILTV on the hour, bringing you the biggest stories from Israel and the Middle East in just 5 minutes. I'm Shosh Bedrosian. It is 6 a.m. in New York and 1 p.m. in Israel, and today is day 615 of the war. Let's get into it. We begin this hour's headlines with breaking news that the U.S. Embassy in Israel is now issuing a security alert to U.S. government employees and family members are restricting from being traveled outside of large cities in Israel until further notice, citing increased regional tensions. And developing news that media reports suggest Israel could strike Iran in coming days. According to an NBC News report, sources tell the outlet the strike will most likely be without U.S. support. But the news comes as U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff is set to meet with the Iranian foreign minister to discuss the American proposal for a nuclear deal on Sunday. Now, Iran is expected to hand over their counter-proposal to the nuclear deal, a proposal Tehran finds, quote, unacceptable. Trump said in a podcast this week he has less confidence Iran will agree to stop uranium enrichment as proposed in this deal. Meanwhile, Israel is troubled by the amount of ongoing talks that continue between Tehran and the U.S. as they build framework for a nuclear deal. But an Israeli strike on the regime could cause problems with the United States, as the Trump administration argued against action like that. On Wednesday, the Iranian defense minister said if nuclear negotiations fail and conflict rises with the U.S., Iran will strike American bases in the region. The Middle East region is now in a tense state as it's prompted U.S. officials to order the evacuation of non-essential staff from the embassy in Baghdad, Iraq, plus family members of military personnel from bases in Bahrain and Kuwait because of heightened security risks. And President Trump has also threatened Iran with strikes if it does not reach a nuclear deal, giving the regime a 2-month deadline. And another difficult day here in Israel as the bodies of 2 hostages were recovered in Gaza on Wednesday. The IDF says the bodies were recovered in Khan Yunis in southern Gaza, and one of the bodies has been identified as Yair Yaakov, who was kidnapped from Kibbutz Nir Oz and killed on October 7th, and another hostage was also recovered but has not been publicly identified yet. Apparently, he was also killed on Kibbutz Nir Oz and kidnapped on October 7th. With his body dragged into Gaza. The recovery of their bodies marks a total of 5 bodies of hostages who have been brought back from Gaza since the fighting in the enclave renewed. The recovery of their bodies was based on precise intelligence obtained by the hostages' headquarters unit, Shin Bet, the IDF, and military intelligence. Now, after their bodies were recovered in Khan Yunis, they were brought to Abu Kabir, the National Institute of Forensics in Yafo, Tel Aviv. Yair Yaakov was kidnapped from Kibbutz Nir Oz on October 7th, in addition to his partner and 2 sons who were released in November of 2023. Kibbutz Nir Oz announced that he was murdered back in February of 2024. And like we said, the other body has still not been identified yet. Yaakov's 2 sons, Yagil and Or, who survived captivity and released in 2023, confirmed the news on Instagram, saying, "Dad, I love you. I don't even know how to react yet. It's heartbreaking to say this, but I'm already waiting for your funeral." And the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation says 5 staff members of the Palestinian and American team were killed by Hamas on Wednesday night and fears some members of their team may have also been taken hostage by the terror group. GHF says 24 of their staff members were attacked while en route to a distribution center in the area of Khan Yunis. The group says dozens of people were also injured, calling the attack heinous and deliberate. GHF says for days Hamas has been threatening their team, aid workers, and civilians who receive aid from them. And the perpetuating threats actually caused them to shutter their services in recent days. GHF's work and success has been buried in news headlines as its controversial backing from the U.S. and Israel by media outlets has caused its work to not be highlighted. But the group said this week they hit a record high of distributing 2.5 million meals in just one day inside of Gaza. The group said for weeks Hamas sees them as a threat, as the terror group cannot get their hands on any of their aid. That is a wrap here on ILTV on the hour. Thanks so much for watching. As all of these developments continue to unfold, stay with us for more at the next top of the hour.